You've got them for 6 months. You're here.
Western bei der Zwischenzeit Horseshoe.
Yes!
Ausgang. Wie geht's? Ja?
Dan schrijf van maken van slip.
Hoi.
Doe jij dat?
Bob. Baba Lillehammer foredrag.
It's now 1 minute to the first corner, 1 minute to the first corner, and 5 minutes to start for the second round of this competition.
Eighth and final race of the men's skeleton World Cup. We're in Lillehammer in Norway, and this is also the European Championships for 2025. Heading into the second and deciding heat, the fastest 25 sleds go through into the second run from 38 starters in the first heat. And we have an interesting lead group. In third place, Axel Jung, last year's silver medalist. Now, he is 1300s back from the lead and ahead of a tight group with teammate Christopher Groothair, Marcus White, European champion, Felix Keisinger, European bronze medalist, and a couple of others. But the lead battle is seemingly a two-horse race. Sammy Meyer, 28th fastest starter, but the third man on the ice, made the very best of excellent conditions, and he held a long time lead. But creeping in front of him by just 0.03 of a second is Lin Zhengwei of China. Lin, the fastest starter in the first heat. starting 33 hundredths quicker, held just 10% of that at the bottom as an advantage. So it is game on. Lin ahead of Meyer by 300ths, then Junk, Wyatt, Groothair, Yin, Kaisinger, possibly Weston. Then look at Chen Wen-hao and Rasmus Johansson, just 100th apart. 300ths behind them, Lucas Neidegger. And then a tiny gap between Vladislav Heraskevich, Giovanni Marchetti, and so on and so on. Livio Sumamata finishing in 25th there, the final man to go through. The remaining sliders did not make it into Heat 2. So Marcus Wyatt getting a couple of final moments advice there from Matthias Guggenberg, and Sammy Meyer thinking his way down this run. This could be a massive, massive day for Sammy. There's last year's silver medalist on this track, Axel Junk. He could easily be in the medals. Last year it was gold for Groothair and bronze for Axel Junk. And in terms of this being the final race of the World Cup, good morning to Giovanni. Matt Weston looking to reclaim or to get a second World Cup Crystal Globe. Last year he won from Christopher Groothair and Yin Cheng. This year it is Matt Weston, Marcus Wyatt and Christopher Groothair, the top three. But if Groothair has a disaster, Sammy Meyer might just creep in there at the line, particularly if he ends up with a gold. If he can win here ahead of Lin, this will be his first World Cup win and his fourth World Cup medal. And if he's first or second, or at least if he's the top European, he will also become the European champion. So lots to conjure with, plenty of maths. Final run of the regular season for Men's Skeleton World Cup. Livio Sumamata is first off. The Swiss was 15th fastest in the first heat with a 4:83. He ties that in the second. So he's got a nice, smooth sliding style, keeps his form really well. Something that Swiss skeleton sliders certainly had over the years. And one of their most successful, a world champion, Maja Pedersen-Bjerre. Maja Pedersen, as she now is, married to Snorre Pedersen, the Norwegian slider. She lives here, has done for many years. She's full running this weekend. Nice looking run again from Livio Sumamata. First heat, a 52.51, 52.47, so just a whisker quicker. Always hard to tell what Livio is thinking because he's just got this beaming grin on his face. Win, lose or draw, he is loving life. He is in the top 25. Last year finished in 26, did not make the second heat. This year he has. Okay, not by much, but he did make it in. Little skid, early entrance onto 13, and not a bad exit, just a little bit of a flop. Tags the wall coming up to 14. You want to stay on the sliders left there. Need to work on that camera mic. He's definitely, everybody's off mic a bit down at the bottom. Next up, Dan Barefoot of the USA. 17th fastest start. And he came out quite late in the field, 33rd of our 38 starters. So the race was definitely very full by the time he got to the line. 4:86 first heat start, just a whisker slower than Sumamata. 4:91, not quite as quick. Decent experience. Now he's building up in the World Cup. Finished 20th last year, so he's going to have to pick off a few and hang out in the leaders box. And at the moment, still a 10th behind Livio Sumamata. Some of the 1,100 school children who are visiting today down there in the viewing area around corner 10. They're all over the track. They're sliding on a little luge run as well. Learning all about sliding sports. Everybody in Norway knows about skiing, biathlon, cross country. Trying to re-educate them all now about sliding sports in this 1994 Winter Olympic venue. Well, Dan Barefoot came back to Livio Sommermatter, but not quite enough. Not necessarily going to match his top 20 finish from last year. And again, maybe the fresh spritz between the runs is just putting a little more speed onto the ice than he was finding in the first heat after 32 previous sleds. So now for Latvia, young Davis Valdovskis, just 18, under 20 junior world champion last year and 4th in the Youth Olympics in Pyeongchang. Won one of the qualifying races for the Youth Olympic Games on this track, the end of 2023. Raced here in Europe Cup in December last year as well, so just a few weeks ago. 4.90, good getaway. So 4.95 in the first heat. He's found a little bit more speed through the early corners into turn 4. Short shoot down to 5. And then corner 6, the first big pressure corner into the labyrinth. 7, 8, corner 9, and then down to 10. To lots of excitable kids. 11 and 12, big corner 12 sets you up into 13. Key to speed at the bottom, decent exit. Pretty decent exit. 1400s up, best speed we've seen. He's going to be the leader at the bottom, 52.15. Good stuff from the Latvian teenager. Didn't race here in last year's World Cup. Previous World Cup best, a 14th place finish. That was on his debut in Winterberg. I beg your pardon, in Sigulda. And then was 25th in Samoritz a couple of weeks ago. 3 weeks ago now. Well, nice, smooth-looking lines, good form. Look at that, absolutely impeccable. Head buried, trusting the line. Excellent. Three down out of 25, and we get to the man who holds the start record. Jung Seung-gi in his first race since Lake Placid last March. As I said in the first heat, he had a herniated disc in pre-season training, had to have surgery and has rehabbed, and this is his first race since. Yes, he will have done some training to try and build himself up to speed in Pyeongchang, but the start is not there. 5:01 in the first heat, 5:09 in the second. And definitely better for it to happen at the beginning of the pre-Olympic season. Can you imagine if it had been at the end of this summer, before the Games? He's still sliding nicely, but losing speed here. That start isn't helping. Second best speed. Can he turn the deficit into his advantage? Best speed of all down at the bottom. He's going to run out of ice, I think. Out of 16, 800s back, 52.35. Well, he may not be running much, but he can still drive. And of course, for Jung, the speeds with which he's getting to corners are very different from what he was used to. Finished 9th here last year, and he will be, well, no worse than 23rd, but with all sorts of good reasons. Spinal surgery, not something that you shrug off in a hurry. But good news for him and for Korea is that he has another 12 months before the Olympics. And somebody there with a textbook and a pen, which is turning fast into an autograph book. What a great idea. So from Lin Zhengwei to his teammate Kim Ji-soo. Kim in his 49th World Cup start now. Finished 21st last year and 21st after the first heat. He was very disappointed with his run. Mind you, last year's World Cup was the only time he has raced on this track. 7th and 5th in Pyeongchang. There is our current leader, Davis Valdovskis. And Davis hanging out in the leader's box at the moment. Slight delay. So he's getting his jacket back on. Slight track hold. Didn't quite hear from the track worker there what the reason for it was. Now, in addition to being the venue for the '94 Winter Games, of course, Youth Olympic Games held here in 2016. We got a number of the medalists competing in the men and the women's skeleton and in bobsleigh as well. You can tell that ice hockey is clearly another big sport here in Norway. Great to see so many kids around. I know when we go to German tracks very frequently, local schools come out, but not in the sort of numbers that they are here. It's almost like they bust in the under 10 population or under 16 population of Oslo as well. So great to see so many kids around and about. Lots of noise, lots of colour, lots of excitement, and of course they can get so close to the action. Something that when you're watching skiing or cross-country or biathlon, ski jumping, you just can't. You can't be right by the piste. You just can't. But here you can. Kim thinking his way down. And plenty of sliding opportunities as well. They had this set up last year, but it's greatly expanded this year, with a track for the kids to have a run down. All right, you know, feet first, going the wrong way, obviously. Luge rather than skeleton, but that's how everybody starts. And as we all know from sliding experience when we were kids, I mean, unless you live in somewhere tropical that doesn't have snow, you start off going down feet first, and then once that gets a bit tame, you turn around and go down head first, and then suddenly the world seems to be going past you a lot faster, and that's exactly what happens with skeleton. Putting your head out front, particularly with your hands behind you, just does certain things to your brain. As I was saying, the Youth Olympics here in 2016, but the next World Championships after this year will be back here in 2027. So World Championships this year in Lake Placid, 2 weeks in the glorious Adirondacks at the end of February and into March, which is always a fun time. And that, of course, is the Worlds that was due to happen in 2021. And as we know, for various pandemic-related reasons, 2021, the Worlds, nobody was really travelling. And so the World Championships were held for a second consecutive time in Altenburg. but were due to have been in Lake Placid, and so this year's World Championships will be at the venue for the 1932 and 1980 Winter Games. Now, not on the same track as the 1932 Games was a natural track. 1980 was the old track, and the new track opened for the Goodwill Games in 2000. And it is that we will be racing on again. And order the Olympic Region Development Association and the state of New York, rather than New York City itself, the state of New York has invested a lot of money in the Lake Placid area and all their Olympic heritage sites. So the bobsleigh track with it always had the biathlon track with it. The biathlon range was down just by the highway as you enter the bobsleigh track by the storage areas. But now there is a whole new biathlon start, finish and viewing arena right beside the bobsleigh track. A massive new building with a start house built into it. And there is also an aerial ride over the old track, and some of the old track still there as well. Lots of history and heritage in Lake Placid. If you are watching anywhere and can get to Lake Placid, actually summer or winter, you will not regret it. In the summer, as the name suggests, it's a mountainous and lake-filled area. Mirror Lake in the centre of Lake Placid itself, Lake Placid. Saranac Lake just up the road. Lots and lots of beautiful scenery, Adirondacks in the middle of the summer. And a chance to watch the action in the World Championships this winter as well. So getting ready to get our race back underway. And this is Kim Ji-soo of Korea. World Cup best result, 5th place in race 2 in Pyeongchang this year. Kim was 21st here last year. Last year, 21st in the first run. 4:74 is a decent start. Our current leader, Davis Valdoskis of Latvia. But with that massive starting advantage over the Latvian, and a decent lead from the first heat of 2300s as well. Out to 4700s, but back down to 3/10 out of corner 10. Not the tidiest of runs. 5th best speed, i.e. slowest so far. 3rd best speed, he'll just about hang on. Won't have much left at the line, but should take the lead. And does by 600ths. And Davis probably keen to leave the leader's box and get a warm jacket. That little thin shell that he was wearing, probably not keeping him very warm. So Kim Ji-soo takes the lead, 20 to go. Not as quick as his first run either. Davis Valdoskis found 3/10 in the second heat that he couldn't find in the first, and that has brought the gap right together. Kim Ji-soo clinging on in front by 600ths of a second. And some great autograph signing going on, excellent to see. Kim Ji-soo leads from Davis Valdoskis, 5 down, 20 to go. Well, Alex Schlintner was not a happy bunny after the first of the 2 heats. 19th fastest at the start and 20th at the bottom. Let's see if he can tidy things up a little. Just 700ths ahead of Kim from the first heat, and doesn't start quite as quick, so drops into the red. Smooth so far, down through 4 and 5, up to corner 6. So that third pressure right at the end, leading you into the labyrinth. 8, 9, and then down to corner 10. Cowbell as well, liking all of this. Out of 12. Decent looking run. 13, comes over to the correct side for 14. Second best speed, building his advantage over Kim. Kim was not quick at the bottom. 52 dead. Well, he finds 1600s, probably not enough to make him overjoyed. But actually, in this company, 1600s could see him live in the leader's box for a few more sleds. Not the best day to end the World Cup season. 17th here last year. He might just match that this year. Just a little late out of 13. Takes a brush on the wall coming up to 14. Great hand shot through corner 15 there. All right. Chu Haifeng for China now, one of our 2 Chinese rookies in the World Cup this season. Lin Zhengwei, his teammate, has up until this stage had a slightly better season. But there hasn't been an awful lot to choose between them. A couple of standout top 10 finishes for Lin, which Chu has not yet managed to find. 483 getaway, 485 in the first heat. So 900s ahead of Alex Schlindner. Wasn't much between them in the first heat, just 400ths of a second, and that gap has come back down. Chu had 500s extra at the start. He's now basically living on the fat of his first run reserves. Speeds so-so, 200s in it. I think Schlindner was faster at that stage. Oh, and all on the wrong side in 14. Now, second place at the line. Well, Alex is better than losing places in your second run. So Xu slips one, and he will be no worse than 20th. Didn't race here in the World Cup last year. And like his teammates, was over in Lake Placid in the last North America's Cup race weekend, beginning of the month. So 2 weeks ago in Europe, last week in North America, and back to Europe. Travel broadens the mind, but also messes with the body clock. And there's a rarity for a Norwegian school kid, a Chinese autograph. Now Austin Florian, second starter, his 50th World Cup race. Season's best, a 5th place in St. Moritz. And here last year he was 15th, he was 18th after the first heat. Figured out even less of the track than last year, 469 the getaway compared to 478 in the first heat. So you can imagine he is absolutely fired up for this. Well, it was a little bit of a run of 2 halves. First half was okay, but below the labyrinth, it just got away from him. Only the 5th best speed as well from the fastest start. Gaps coming down already. Oh, and late off 13, wrong side into 14. Struggling in 15, the speed's not there. It's going to be close at the line. Not close enough. Well, he is not going to be a happy boy at the end of this run, Austin Florian. 2 disappointing runs. Lake Placid can only be better. Well, the start was strong. 4:69. He was the 10th fastest starter in the first heat. 4:69 is only 200ths off the fastest start of all in Heat 1. So that's a big improvement, getting him right back in the frame. But a good result in his 50th World Cup start would certainly have sent him off to the States in a better frame of mind. All right, go sign some autographs. That'll put the smile back on your face. Lucas Defaye from France now, 24th fastest starter, 17th at the bottom of the track, but it took a while to start unwinding that start deficit in the first heat. 1400ths is his advantage now over Alex Schlindner. 4:90, just a whisker quicker than his first heat, but he loses 200ths of his first heat advantage at the start. He's definitely a smooth driver, though. He's got a good feel for ice. The lines and the form are always good. The gap had sagged a little, back out to 1200ths. 1300ths, third best speed. Keeping his nose just in front, 1300ths. He was 1200ths up in the first heat. Second best speed at the bottom. Lucas Defaye takes the lead with a 52 flat, just 200ths of a second faster than his first heat. So Alex Schlindner out of the leader's box with 16 to go. Alex will be no worse than 18th, but 17th last year. And Luca has the lead with 16 to go. Again, it was a decent looking run. And a big improvement over last year, where he finished last of the 37 sleds. I wonder how many of the kids have got even a word of French. Mind you, don't think Luca's got much of much Norwegian either, probably, so there we go. Next up for Great Britain, Lawrence Bostock. 5th fastest of our starters, returning to the World Cup for the first time since Winterberg, so his 2nd World Cup outing this season, the 8th of his career. Last time in a World Cup race was Lake Placid. I beg your pardon, it was La Plaine. It was Lake Placid in December 2022. So 4:78 getaway. Matches his first heat start, but like his teammates, the speed was okay. He was building a lead up to the top of the labyrinth. Gap's coming down already. 2600ths to 1600ths, only the 6th best speed. They didn't have speed last year, and they don't have speed this year, the British sleds. A big question mark. He drops into the red. He's going to lose a spot to Defaye. Some friends and family on hand. 12-time European champion Martin Stukel is there with the sled. So Lawrence Bostock drops a spot behind Lucas Defaye. And again, the speed sagging out of the sleds. And that's not encouraging for Matt Weston and Marcus Wyatt. Weston 8th after the first heat. European champion Wyatt only 4th. Now the last 2 men to win a European gold. So 10 down, 15 to go, and it is Luca De Faye who is our leader. Italy's Mattia Gaspari next at the block. Started 4.96 in the first heat, only 31st fastest starter, but drove himself down into 15th place. A year from the games in Milano Cortina. Hometown Cortina d'Ampezzo for Mattia and his sister, who's an alpine skier for the Italians. I mean, not just in their native country, their hometown. So he is so desperate to see the track finished, and he's so close to being ready. Probably won't get homologated this winter. 800's up at the start, 900's up now. Oh, little late flop. A 10th up, creeping away from Luca De Faye. 1500's up, best speed for Mattia Gaspari. Oh, little late flop out of 13 though. Still best speed, head buried in 16. And across the line in 15, cross the line at 3800's up, 51.73.
Oh no!
Well, the man you just saw, Coach Willi Schneider, is going to have to find some magic bullets in the next 12 months. Hey, there you go, Forza Italia. Right, somebody grab the sled, because there'll be another athlete along in a couple of minutes. Little late flop out of 13. But he was carrying good speed down through the labyrinth, and that's probably what pushed him late through 10, 11, 12 into 13, and then on to 14. Not bad. Middle entrance. Look at the belief in 15. Head absolutely buried, not looking at anything. He feels it, he knows it. Not too bad. So Mattia Gaspari leads with 14 to go. Mattia was 23rd here last year. Next up for Switzerland's Vincent Buff. Now he was 14th here last year and is in, or was in, 14th place in the first heat. Just 200s up. This is going to be a tight one. The next sled was only 200s faster than him as well, so we're in one of those little clumps of athletes. 4.95, only 11th fastest getaway. He loses his 200s as he starts 200 slower than Mattia Gaspari. So as they start, it's dead level. Still in the red, 600s back. One of three sliding brothers. Valentin, the youngest, still sliding for Switzerland. 900s is the deficit. Can he turn it around? Decent exit out of 13. Second best speed, but Gaspari was fastest on the way down. Across the line, 1900s back. So he loses a spot for now. That might be two. So 14th last year, he is second with 13 to go. Just a little slip on the penultimate step with his left foot. His legs just moving fractionally wide of where he wanted to be to power onto the sled. And again, out of 13 here. Not a bad looking exit. Just a little bit of a skin and a rub on the wall. That might just about leave him in the top 10 in the European Championships. Next up, Giovanni Marchetti of Italy. Good run from the 10th best start to 13th at the bottom. Got got experience of this track, although it's his rookie season in the World Cup. He has raced here in Europe Cup on a couple of occasions. With that start, 481 getaway, not quite as quick as his first heat. It gives him acceleration early on. Little wavy in 6. So we had a late exit out of 6 and the speed has gone away. A little high in the labyrinth as well. Only the 8th best speed. So he's going to lose a spot. 1900s back is Vincent Bouff. So he's going to lose at least 2. 3800s back is Luca Defaye. He loses 3 spots. Giovanni Marchetti. That is our last Italian representative. No Amedeo Bagnis. He's struggling with a little bit of an injury. And is rehabbing for the World Championships. Got a little early entry there. And that sends you up high. And that extra height means you come out hard into the wall. So there's your current leader, Mattia Gaspari, with 12 to go. First of whom, Ukraine's Vladislav Hereskevich, with a 700ths of a second advantage over Mattia from the first heat. '12th place for Vlad, 22nd here last year, so again a big improvement. 487 the getaway, 300ths quicker than his first run, so adding to that first heat advantage. But now that is ebbing away. He was 700ths up from the first heat. He's only 900ths in front now. Better speed. Almost as quick as Mattia Gaspari. 600ths. Speed isn't quite what the Italian produced, though. Out of 13, decent exit. Third best speed. 200ths back. Gaspari was fastest of all at the bottom. Slips a spot, 51.90. So he will be no worse than 13th. And Vladislav improving on last year's 22nd place finish by a big margin. Nobody's ever happy to lose spots in their second heat. With the knowledge of the first behind you and a decent feel for the ice, you hope to improve. But obviously, this is racing. They're always pushing as hard as they can, looking for even the tiniest advantage. So Mattia Gaspari still the leader as we get to the fringes of the top 10 with Lucas Neidegger, the rookie here this season. So Neidegger raced here in Europe Cup last year. Junior European Champion 2023. Junior World Champion here in 2024. And that was the race in which he set the track record that was beaten when the World Cup arrived. Track record still held by his teammate Felix Seibel at 51.04. Don't think we're going to get there today, but it's not too far away. 4.92 start and now 2/10 up on Mattia Gaspari. 1900s up. Good speed. Right with Gaspari. This might be enough to take the lead. 1800s up, second best speed. Tantalizingly close. I think, oh, big skid out of 13. Fourth best speed. I think Matthias' time in the leader's box might just have run down. It's going to be close. It was close. 15.191, 0.2 of a second slower than his first heat, but just clings on and has the lead with 10 to go. So Mattia Gaspari will no worse than 12th, 23rd last year.
Our top three is allowed now from Ukraine, Vladislav Herashevich, second place.
So Lucas Nidegger with the lead, Mattia Gaspari in second, and Vladislav Herashevich in third. That didn't help, did it? That made it very tight indeed. When Mattia saw that, I'm sure he had hope. Very tight, very tight. So 10 to go, and we have Lucas Nidegger, our German rookie, in the lead. Now, one of his, quote, teammates is the Dane Rasmus Johansson. Trains, travels, rooms with the Germans. 24th at the start with a 4.91 getaway. Let's see what he can produce here. I beg your pardon. 10th at the start with a 4.78 getaway. 4.77, just a whisker closer. He's building confidence, performance and speed all the time. Hanging out with the Germans is never a bad thing. Good run through 6. Into the labyrinth he comes. Building his advantage now, significantly over Nidegger. 1820 lay down, out to 3900s up to 4/10 in advantage. It's a really good run from Rasmus Johansson. He was 7th here last year, a little late in 13, but he's got big speed, or did have. Should still be a quarter of a second up on Nidegger. 2600s in front, 51.68. But he was only 300s faster than Nidegger in the first heat. That felt good, didn't it? Just see the reaction. Super stoked with that. So top 10 in the first heat, but 7th last year. And Rasmus Johansson laying down a smoker in the second heat. 51.68 first run, 51.68 second run. The top half was better than the bottom half. Like so many, from 10 on down, it starts to get a bit quick. Chen Wenhao, one of 3 Chinese sliders in the top 10. 5th fastest at the start, 9th at the bottom, 100th his advantage over Rasmus Johansson. Finished 11th last year, so 9th in the first heat, a definite improvement. 4.72. So 400's quicker at the start. Let's see if he can carry that down. Corner 6. Out from 600s to a 10th up. Into the labyrinth he comes. Speed is very good. He's going to continue with that speed to extend the lead. 800s, 800s, all speed's going away. Good exit out of 13, middle of 14, best speed of all, little wavy in 15. It's going to be close, but he's got the lead. Oh yes, wow, he really accelerated away. So chapeau there from Rasmus Johansson, 51.35 run. First athlete we've seen really build speed in this second heat below corner 12. So from 12, you just saw the view into 13. Good exit out of 13. Didn't steer. Came kind of in the middle into 14. That'll do. And in 15, just letting the sled do its thing. A couple of little corrections. Could have been quicker. It's been learning from Mattia Gaspari. So, 8 to go. And this is our 2023 European champion, Matt Weston, silver medalist last year in the Europeans. That was in Sigulda. And here Matt Weston in 8th place last year, 8th after the first of our 2 heats. And like his teammates, lost speed below corner 10. Let's see if they've figured out how to do what we've just seen Chen do, which is build speed. First part of the track was pretty good, building on that advantage with a fast start. Weston was the second fastest, no, he was the fastest, equal fastest starter in the first heat with a 4:67. He's just started quicker. Good speed, but the gap is down from 23 to 1200s. It'll be down to 0. This is going to be very tight. Only the 7th best speed. Can't hold on. Chen is going to lead with 7 to go. No European medal this year for Matt Weston. At the moment, top 3 in the Europeans, Sammy Meyer, Axel Jung, and the defending champion, Marcus Wyatt.
Oh, hiya.
Sneak up on him like that. Well, he's won the last 2 races in the World Cup, and that's where the streak ends. And this will be his first time off the podium all season. And as he heads towards the World Championships in a couple of weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, he will be hoping that he can return to the podium in Lake Placid. Second of our 3 Chinese sliders is Yin Cheng. Started 5th fastest with the 4:76. Came down tied for 6th place with Felix Kaisinger of Germany. Yin finished in 4th place in last year's race here. 2 bronze medals this season on home ice in Beijing and also in Sigulda just before Christmas. .474. Just about hanging on in front of his teammate Chen, but the speed is awful. Where has that gone? He's going to drop into the red. 4th best speed. It's going to be tight. Not the greatest exit out of 13. Still the 4th best speed. He'll have enough at the bottom. Should do just enough. Does. 1/10 of a second up on Chen Wenhao.
Well done.
Heading off into the boonies at the bottom. Yin Cheng has the lead with 6 to go. Just off the podium last year. It'll be a remarkable end to the race if he ends up in 4th place now. Late out of 13, late on, late off, skid, tap, steer, down to 14. And then in 15, early height. Little too much fluctuation. 6 to go. So this is for what is known as the wider podium, the top 6. And Felix Kaisinger, the European bronze medalist from Sigulda last year, is the first to go. Tied to the 100th with Yin. Started 100th slower with a 4.77. Yin upped his start to 4.74. Let's see if Kaisi can do the same. 4.71, excellent stuff. So breaks the tie even before he lies down. Now he's got to drive that speed down the track. Same FES sled as his teammate Christopher Groothair, who comes up next, and Axel Junk, who's lying in third after the first heat. But only the 7th best speed. Now, is that his setup? Is that his choice of runners, or is that a worry for his teammates? 8th best speed, it's going away. It's not a shockingly bad-looking run. 500's back. He's going to lose the tie with Yin Cheng. He does by a 10th, 51.58. He's in another tie with another Chinese athlete. He's now tied with Chen Wenhao. And they will be no worse than 7th. Not as quick as his first run, though, for Kaisi. The start was better. Couldn't carry that speed all the way down. .471 is likely to be third fastest start in the competition. We've had 2 men on a 67. Matt Weston just started in a 66. Good getaway for Kaisi. 5 to go. Yin Cheng of China is our leader. 4 times a world champion, our reigning Olympic champion as well. Christopher Groothair. 1 silver, 1 bronze in the European Championships at the moment. He's out of medal reach. 4.85 getaway. He was 1500ths out of the lead. Bronze, Axel Junk is 1300ths out of the lead. So this is where the battle begins. First, of course, he's got to stay ahead of Yin Cheng, who was only 1900ths off the lead, so just 400ths behind him. He's bringing back the deficit with the best speed at the bottom. More speed than Kaisi, or at least he did have. Flopping around all over the place, low down though. Very late exits below corner 10. 9th best speed, and the gap is yawning wide. And Groothair across the line, only 5th. .35 slower than his first heat. Goodness me. Well, everybody's got to have a loose run occasionally, and better today than in the World Championships, where he'll be going in Lake Placid for his 5th World Championship title. I beg your pardon, his 4th. So Groothair, yeah, bottom half of the track, an absolute nightmare. Look at the bounce there as he comes down off 13. Four to go, and the battle for the medals is alight. Yin Cheng of China, the leader, 500ths quicker than him in the first heat, is our reigning European champion Marcus Wyatt. He was 100th off bronze in the first heat, 1400ths off gold. 4.70, great starting again, matches his first getaway, 3rd fastest in the first heat. Only Matt Weston has started faster so far. 1100ths up on Yin Cheng. Don't forget, he had 500s from the first heat, and in that first heat, the speed started to go away at the bottom of the labyrinth. 2100s, he's building his advantage, but the speed is going away again. Out of 13, little heavy landing. 1600s, this should be enough to have the lead. Not by much, but there weren't big margins to start with. Across the line, he's doubled his advantage. 500s up in the first heat, a 10th in front in the second. But where is that speed going? They better unlock the secrets of this track before the 2027 World Championships. Ilko, stop sneaking up on people. Use the zoom. A little late foot there. 10-11, defining your line for 12, and that then compromises 13, and the speed goes away.
Hey everybody, couldn't do it without these up. Go on the Brits.
Friends and family are there. Marcus Wyatt leads with 3 to go. Will the European champion take a medal? The answer is yes, he will, because only 2 of the 3 are from Europe. So in the bronze medal position for the race, and in the silver medal position for the European Championships after the first heat, is Axel Jung. Axel, last year's silver medalist here. European Championship silver medalist in 2019, 2 times a bronze medalist in the Europeans as well. 478 getaway. A little high, maybe out of 3. Out of corner 6. Down into the labyrinth. Out of corner 10 is one of the key sections. Late height in 10 gives you speed through 11 and 12, sets you up nicely for 13. Best speed of all. Little late exit, still in the red, but it's coming right back. 4 fastest, quicker than Marcus Wyatt. This could be to the 100th of a second. Is he in front? He's not. Axel Jung in second with 2 to go. No guarantee of a medal in the World Cup, but he will have another European medal. So Marcus Wyatt, the leader with 2 to go on the overall podium, and at least a European silver medalist. And Axel late out of 13, and that cost him. Bronze medalist 2 years ago in Altenburg, silver medalist in Koenigsegg 2019, bronze in Eagles 2018, and he will be at least a bronze medalist in the European Championships for the 3rd time here. Sami Meyer, our first heat surprise package. 300s is the gap between the final 2 sleds. For either of them, it would be a first-time win. Here we go. Started 494 first heat, 491 in the second. Drove beautifully in the first heat. He's in the red behind Marcus Wyatt, who started 470, but Meyer made his speed all the way down the track. He was flying everywhere. And he has to do exactly the same again if he wants to win this race. Only the 5th best speed. Now, he was 3rd on the ice in the first heat. Made good use of that fresh ice. Best speed of all now. But 2400s back out of 13. Not much ice. Plenty of speed. 128.6 by a kilometre an hour. The fastest man, but it's not enough. It is enough! It is enough. He is the European champion. 1/100th of a second. He is the European champion. The last European champion for Austria a long time ago. Well, he found it in the end. Goodness me. 100th at the line. Last European Championship medal for Austria in 2007. Markus Pentz got a silver in Königssee. The last gold 2003. Walter Stern in St. Moritz. So, look at the man in the yellow jacket and the beanie hat in the background, Dirk Matchens. This is the big chance for his boy, Lin Zhengwei. Came in at the beginning of this season as a World Cup rookie and is now poised, potentially, to claim his first win in his rookie season. There's going to be a track hold. We hear there is something in the track. Now, he's already been a gold medalist. He was half of the gold medal winning team in St. Moritz in the snow. And Sammy Meyer, European champion. So, Austrians, European champions, 2003 St. Moritz, Walter Stern. Before him, 1987 in Sarajevo, Andy Schmidt. And in 1981 in Innsbruck and in 1982 in Königssee, Gert Eisesser was European champion for Austria. So only 3 previous European gold medals for Austria, beg pardon, 4, and Sammy Meyer, the first in 21 years. So 12-time European champion on the right-hand side there. Martin Stuckurs with last year's European champion Marcus Wyatt. He takes the silver medal this year, his first European silver, to go with last year's gold. Track Works is doing a lot of running, bearing in mind this isn't flat. Probably has the hallmarks of one of the younger members of the audience dropping something. However, look at that. Great to see so many kids around and about here. Nervous times for Dirk Matchens. Brought in these 2 young sliders, Shu and Lin, this year. Christopher Grove here already going through the video, and Sammy Meyer. Well, we're going to have a first-time winner, not just a first-time new winner this season, but a first-time winner. Sammy Meyer has never won a World Cup race, and nor has Lin Zhengwei.
Liebe Grüße an alle daheim. Danke fürs Anfeuern. Hallo Ella, hallo Raffi, Maria, Benny. Hallo die Angefeuert haben, Goti, geht, die Mama, Papa.
So the whole family, a sliding family. Benny Meyer, of course, standout in bobsleigh for Austria. Snorre Pedersen in the background there. Little snow on the peaks these days. Last man to race in Skeleton-Weltcup for Norway. And a local here in Lillehammer. And of course that's how you get involved so often, is being near a track. And it's his wife, Maja Pedersen, who's one of the forerunners. usually get her to do the POV because, hey, she's a world champion and she's still sliding, so what can you do? In fact, Maya competed in the World Cup a couple of times, making a comeback before the last games. There's Axel Jung. Axel in third at the moment, so European bronze for him, European silver for Marcus Wyatt, European gold for Sammy Meyer. And Lin Zhengwei looking commendably composed, not asking his coach what's going on, not asking anybody what's going on, just clearing his mind. And Dirk sending him back into the warm. Patrick Singleton there at the top of the track as well, helping out the Chinese team. Another former slider. Everybody waiting down at the bottom. Last few athletes. Felix Kaisinger there. Kaisi currently in fifth, so he'll be on the overall wider podium, so will Axel. Christopher Groten here in eighth at the moment. Matt Weston giving thoughts to Team GB's PR. So great work on their social media and PR side. Like so many teams, so aware that getting the results out, the information out digitally is so critical to being able to follow sport these days. Even TV and newspapers in the UK seem to have woken up to the fact that it is winter and winter sports are happening, not least because of the bobsleigh team, Brad Hall and the boys, ending up with wins and medals. So Lin just saying, okay, well, how long to go? Waiting for the clock. So he would have been brought back out because there are 2 minutes to go to the start. Not really what you want is the understatement of the day. When you are the leader, you're the last to leave the changing room, and that's a situation probably that very rarely happens even in training, and has not happened to him in a World Cup race before. When they won their team gold in the snow, they were third or fourth or fifth team out. So it's a very different situation when you're the last to go. Matt Weston talked about this when he led Martins du Cours in Innsbruck. He was the last out, and it just got to him a little, and he was overdriving. A year later, when he was the last to go, that didn't happen. He claimed his first win. Well, in fact, it was a three-way tie for gold, but it was gold nevertheless. And since then, that feeling of being the last out becomes a motivational feeling. But for Lin, first time it's happened, and a delay, and pressure. Now, he won't be the first Chinese slider to win in World Cup, but a great opportunity here for Lin Zhengwei of China. 25 years old, first season in the World Cup, raced here twice in Europe Cup, including a win. Fastest starter in the first heat, 4:65. Fastest starter in the second heat as well. Finds another couple of hundreds. So the battle is on. It was only 300s at the bottom of the first run against Sammy Meyer. He outstarted Meyer by miles, has done again in the second heat, but he's got to hang on to that speed. Seventh best speed. The gap's gone from 42 to 3900s to 3200s. He's losing time. Ninth best speed. Sammy was fastest all the way down. Late flop. 2300s. He should have enough. This should be victory for the very first time for Lin Zhengwei. He wins it! Sammy Meyer's the European champion. Lin Zhengwei takes the gold. And after all of that, there is that build-up of tension. Chen Wenhao gives his congratulations. Yin Cheng there as well. Lin Zhengwei, that's how you handle the pressure. High-fiving kids who don't share a single word of language with him, probably. Lin Zhengwei, a track hold, and the final man on ice defends his first heat lead and quadruples it to go away from the European champion Sami Meyer and claim his first ever World Cup gold medal. Well, congratulations to our new winner, Lin Zhengwei. Sami Meyer takes the European Championship gold, and Marcus Wyatt takes the European silver, ahead of Axel Jung, the European bronze medalist. Rounding out the wider podium, Yin Cheng of China and Felix Kaisinger with Chen Wenhao. So 3 Chinese sliders in the top 6 here in Lillehammer. Great work by the sliders, by their coach Dirk Matchens as well. And there you go. There are the rest of the finishing results in our top 25. So some disappointed and some, I'm sure, absolutely delighted with that. Among them, Sami Meyer, another World Cup silver medal for Meyer, and Lin Zhengwei. Congratulations to Lin. Fantastic day today and handled the pressure like an absolute star. Previous best up to here, 5th place in Beijing, and before that 7th in race 2 in Pyeongchang. But since he's come to the European tracks, another 5th place finish, and that was in Winterberg. And now his first gold medal. But an excellent morning's racing for the fans to watch. Get some food and some hot drinks inside them, because there's plenty coming up. Matt Weston is our World Cup champion. Marcus Wyatt and Christopher Groothaar just hanging on ahead of the resurgent Sami Meyer in 4th place, with Axel Jung and Felix Kaisinger rounding out the top half dozen. But look at that. Chen, Yin and Lin now all in the top 10 in the world for China. Rasmus Johansson getting shuffled out of a top 10 spot by the victory today for Lin. So Matt Weston is the World Cup champion for the 2nd year in a row. And for the 2nd year in a row, it is Marcus Wyatt who is the, Marcus Wyatt is the runner-up for the first time. Last year's runner-up was Christopher Groothaar, with Yin Cheng was in 3rd. But in our European Championships, gold for Sami Meyer, silver for last year's champion Marcus Wyatt by 100th, and bronze for Axel Jung, with Felix Kaisinger, Matt West and Christopher Groothaar rounding out the top half dozen. And that is it for men's skeleton. There is your new European champion, the first in nearly a quarter of a century for Austria. Walter Stern, the winner in Samoritz in 2003. And Lillehammer 2025, the gold goes to Sami Meyer. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to the crew here in Lillehammer for putting on such a great race and a great day's action. We will be back with the women at 1 local. That is midday GMT, 0700 Eastern, and that is in 59 minutes from now. See you then. The women's skeleton season finale at the European Championships.
fürs ARD. Okay. Also Axel Jung, bist du zufrieden mit deinem Rennen heute?
Ja, auf jeden Fall. Also es geht Step by Step, von Weltcup zu Weltcup wird es momentan besser in der Saison. Jetzt mit Hinblick auf die WM, glaube ich, die Formkurve steigt und das macht mich auf jeden Fall zufrieden.
Ja. Das gibt gute Laune für das WM. Das ist das beste Rennen heute in deiner Saison. Was erwartest du für das WM?
Ja, das hängt ein bisschen mit der Bahn in Lake Placid zusammen. Wir waren vor 2 Wochen schon drüben. Da war das Eis in einem katastrophalen Zustand. Es tat sehr weh, da zu fahren. Ich hoffe, dass, wenn wir jetzt zur WM rüberfahren, da einfach ein bisschen was am Eis gemacht wird und es ein fairer und sicherer Wettkampf wird. Und dann ist da alles möglich. Ich mag Lake Placid, das ist eine meiner